Hello, everybody, and welcome to TLC Live, and welcome me back in Houston and the
Welcome
show.
back.
I was 2 weeks on vacation, visiting family in Spain. I had a great time, but I miss Houston and I miss the show and I miss everybody. And also, thank you so much, Bobby, who is co hosting today with me, filling in for Orlando, who is in a special assignment today. He gave me a break for 2 weeks, and now
Right.
he need a break.
Right now he needs a break, and I love special assignments. It's like anytime he's in Montana, it's special, right?
Very special
Yes.
assignment that he has in Montana,
That's
exactly.
right. That's good. Well, I'm glad
So
to be here.
I know. So thank you so much, Bobby,
Hmm.
for always being available for us, and also congratulations because you
Thank
were
you.
telling me that you've officially been a month in your new position. So I wanted you to tell us about that.
Well, that's right. Well, thanks, Andrea, and folks. Yeah, for I'm glad to be here, guest hosting. I love getting with Andrea and Texas Latino conservatives, and I am actually now the new chairman of the Fort Bend County Republican Party. So I was elected in March and took office in June. So 1 month on the job, and we're already getting people fired up because just like in Harris County, Fort Bend County, we have a really good chance at victory this time around. We've got the energy, we've got the excitement, we've got people volunteering now. We just need to do our fundraising, get the money in place, and go to it because of all the times we need to take Fort Bend back from the Democrats because they've gone off the deep end, and we see it all around the country. That's why people are ready to fight for their children, fight for safe communities, and just turn things around.
So what is your duties now, Bobby?
Mine is to organize the county as far as, we've got a great guest coming up. I kind of work for him and work for the other candidates, trying to get our Republican officials elected. And then once they are elected, then growing our base, taking our message out to communities all across the county and showing them that conservative principles are the ones that work. Conservative principles are the ones that keep the economy going, that keep good lessons in schools and not this critical race theory and profane books or pornographic books and other policies where the left has just gone crazy. Public safety, we'll get to that one in a little bit with our guests. But so my job is to spread that message throughout the community so we get more Republican voters and we get good government. But right now, my focus is getting our candidates elected so they can do the job.
So yeah, this year, 2022 is a very important year, midterm elections, and we have a lot of issues going on that people need to know about it to go and vote in November.
That's right.
And so I guess part of your job is that inform and educate people about those issues and to get the right candidate on the ballot.
Right, that's exactly right. I mean, people are really engaged this time around. I through my show and then other news appearances, I focus primarily on national issues, and we see what's driving the people and what's going to drive them to the ballot box on election day. We've got the crime that's going on and rising like crazy. Well, people think that it's in these Democrat-run cities. Well, it bleeds over. It's happening all over the place. The border, what's going on at the border, has people really scared, but really engaged to make a difference. And we see what's actually happening along the border with people starting to vote Republican.
Yeah.
And then the economy, the inflation, gas prices. People have, Joe Biden is ranking lower than Jimmy Carter now, and there's a reason for it. And that's why we have a reason for hope in November.
And he's only been 18 months
Right.
in
Right.
office.
And-
Imagine, I mean, we still have a long way with it.
Right, you're exactly
It's crazy.
right. So we can't do anything about him right now, but we can do something about changing the direction of Congress to make sure that they don't push through legislation that, even though we've got a 50-50 Senate and most of the time we have a chance to stop it, we're in a much better position if we gain control of the House and Senate and at least show the American people what Republicans would do, what conservative legislators would do. Even if Biden vetoes it, that gives us the opportunity to get a Republican in there in 24.
Correct. And I want to, many of you guys probably are asking why the show started today at 12 when normally it's at 11. Well, it also goes with the topic what you're talking about, Bobby, because I was conducting the press conference and helping this new organization spread the word in the media that is called Stop Houston Motors PAC. This is a new organization, it's a new initiative, and especially talking about the crime,
Right.
the victims that they're everywhere, day and night. Doesn't matter what part of the city, what part of the county, what part of the state you are. It's no longer a good area anymore. It's no longer that the criminals are going at night. No, all day long we're hearing shootings, people dying, people getting murdered for nothing. And especially part of the problem is the judges that we have
That's
right
right.
now
That's right.
running our judicial districts and our judicial courts. So that's why I was there at 10 o'clock in the morning and I couldn't make it at 11. So we did the show today only at 12 because of that new organization, a new initiative that lead us to introduce our guest
Yep.
today. And I'm going to give you the honor because he is in Fort Bend County
Right.
and also,
Yes, he
well,
is.
is your county.
Well, and let me just say, what you did today at this press conference is just fabulous. And folks, for you watching, it's stophoustonmurders.com. Please check out the website. I was talking to Andrea before the show, and it just really shows you what a bad judicial system will lead to. I mean, these crime stats, these people getting out with little to no bail and making and doing violent crimes and affecting people's lives. People have been murdered. These family members will never see those loved ones again, all because of the political process. These elected judges, we need to get rid of them. And that leads us in, as Andrea was saying, to our guest today. Our first guest, he's a friend of mine, actually. He's running for the 458th District Court in Fort Bend County, and that's Chad Bridges. Chad, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bobby. It's good to be here.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
I
So,
appreciate the invitation, Ms. Gomez.
No, no, no. Anytime. I mean, I was contacted by somebody that works in your campaign, and to do something in Spanish for the Hispanic community, and I'm honored to do that in your campaign, also to participate and be part of that. But I said, you know what, we need to invite him this Wednesday. So today, because I knew that I was running this press conference this morning, and I said that's going to be perfect to connect this new organization, this new initiative with you, with your position that you're running for.
Glad to be here. Um, Let me tell you a little bit about myself. And Bobby knows me, and he is a friend, and I appreciate all the hard work he's putting in for Fort Bend County. Um, I'm a candidate for the 458 District Court, and in Fort Bend County, what makes it a little bit different from Harris County is in Fort Bend County they handle both civil and criminal cases. They handle felony cases, which are the more serious cases. Those are the murder cases that you're talking about, the capital murder cases that you're talking about, the sexual assaults, um, and we uh, we are part of a group of candidates who are running who are very well qualified, and I'm the only one in my particular race who is board certified in criminal law. I'm the only one that the Texas Council on Family Violence has had teach judges about using appropriate bonds in family violence cases to keep the community safe. Now, bail should not be used as an instrument of oppression. That's constitutional, and I believe in following the Constitution as it is written. However, part of that also is the community needs to be safe, and there needs to be a balance in that. And I've worked on other projects to help ensure that we have a domestic violence high risk team, so judges are getting information so they know when people are dealing with more dangerous defendants, and so better, stronger bond conditions and amounts are put in place when it's appropriate.
hey, Chad, one of the things that was interesting is, you're one of the few that in Fort Bend County, you were a judge, and now you're back and you're going to try and take this court. And I hope you make it. I'm going to be working hard for you. But what have you seen over the course of your career as far as these changes in the way that these judges, these Democrat ones that have taken over in Fort Bend and Harris County, administering these types of bails and administering justice in general? What kind of trend have you seen?
I'm not as familiar with what happens in Harris County. I watch the news like everybody else, and I'm
Hmm.
not I'm not oblivious to the things that are being said about what's going on in Harris County. In Fort Bend County, what we need judges who have expertise. We need judges who have experience. We need judges who are well qualified. And I'm not speaking ill of my opponent. He's not a bad human being. He's not a bad person, but he lacks the expertise. You need somebody. You can have fairness in what we do and safety. It's not a false choice that you have to make. And but it requires somebody who's done this. And you're right. I have been a judge, and I did a very good job as a judge. And I've tried the really serious cases. The first time you try a capital murder shouldn't be as the judge. The first time that you are making decisions on these kinds of things shouldn't be the first time as a judge. And part of that is expertise in knowing how it works and being board certified. Only the top 10% of attorneys in Texas are board certified. I bring that, other Republican candidates bring that as well. And that's what we need. We need somebody who can be diligent and who has the expertise. It takes a lot to do it right. It's going to take a lot to get Fort Bend County headed in the direction that I think it needs to be headed in with our judiciary collectively. And I'm willing to put in the efforts both for the election and after the election to make sure that Fort Bend County is both fair and safe, because that's what people move out here for. They move out here to run their businesses in safety, have their families go to good schools, and be in neighborhoods where they don't have to fear what's going to happen after sundown.
And we have the same problem here in Harris County.
Right.
It's a lack of experience. And that's why we're seeing these people that they don't know what they're doing.
Right.
And that's why we're having the problem, the security problems that we have here in Harris County, that every day you don't know if you're going to come back home. Every day, I mean, not even driving is safety anymore. Not for the car crash, not for the car accidents. It's because people are just pulling a gun and kill you like nothing. And then you go back on the criminal history of these people, and it's so many times that they're going out in bonds. So that's why they're not afraid of anything, because they know they're going to get away. They know they don't respect anything. And, Chad, I'm from Colombia, South America. I came to this country. I'm an immigrant in 1997. And I'm running from the violence in my country to better not only opportunities in the United States, but also to be safe, because that's the idea that we have over there. But what I'm seeing the last, I guess, 5-6 years going on with the security in this country, in this city, that every day we're number one, and we're not number one for a good reason. We're number one in violence, in crimes. We're number one in human trafficking. It's horrible what we're seeing. And part of the problem is these judges that we have in place. I don't know if it's the same situation in Fort Bend County, and if you're seeing that. I know many people go and live in Fort Bend County and in the Woodlands areas outside of Houston because of safety. I don't know what is going on in Fort Bend County, so feed us a little bit with the situation that you guys are facing over there that make you run for this position.
The reason I'm running is we need somebody who has experience now. We need somebody who's ready day one. And we need somebody who not only deals with, because people, I don't think, understand what goes into being a judge. It's more than just calling balls and strikes in a trial. It's important, and you need to have trial experience, and you need to make the right decision quickly. Don't get me wrong, and experience is part of that. But part of it too is the structural part of it and what needs to happen with the courthouse and how it moves. A lot of these things that you talk about with bond decisions, a lot of those are handled by associate judges who are appointed by the presiding judge of the court, and they are making these decisions. And they need to also understand the balance with these associate judges. Those are some of the most important decisions that a presiding judge makes, is they need to understand that there is a balance, and there has to be a balance between not using bail as an instrument of oppression, which has been part of our Bill of Rights and part of our Constitution for good reasons from the Revolutionary War, when you go back to the originalist intent of it. But also, it counts just as much to consider public safety. You have to balance that. And I worry that sometimes that part of it is not being adhered to the same way that it should be when you talk about what's going on in some places around the Gulf Coast here in Texas. Not all places, not all judges, but I watch the news just like you, and I'm seeing the same things that you see. And I worry that we're not remembering that it's about public safety as well as the other constitutional values that we're trying to uphold. Because safety counts, safe
Right.
communities are important, and they have a right to live in peace, those people who are our neighbors. And that needs to be part of the equation.
Hey, Chad, just to follow up on that, there was a recent poll conducted, I believe, by the Baker Institute out of Rice, talking about Harris County and especially the county judge race. But they were talking about the people that were surveyed ranking the issues that were most important to them. And the number one issue in that poll was crime and public safety. So for the people who are watching, I know you were talking about it just a little bit ago with the bail, but I think when people think of crime and public safety, immediately they fall to law enforcement, the police officers on the street and what they are doing. Are they doing a good job or not? Let us tell us a little bit, give us some background on how the overall crime and public safety, there's two facets to it. There's the law enforcement, but there's the judicial side too. Tell the folks at home how that comes into play in keeping the community safe.
One is it's simply a matter of resources. Are there enough people? And I would defer to the individual agencies to talk about what their needs are. I know that there's never going to be enough resources to fund us in any jurisdiction to get as safe as we want to be. But part of it, and part of what I focus on and what I've done for years, is training, and to help bridge the gap, to help bring us safety. I've trained law enforcement officers. I've taught at our local law enforcement academy. I've trained officers on how to use lethality assessments in domestic violence cases. I'm president of the Fort Bend County Crime Victims Response Team, and part of what we do is put on a training every year for law enforcement, for judges, for attorneys, for caseworkers, for cops, and it's primarily the plurality of people are cops, to make sure they understand what they're dealing with when they hit a scene, particularly in domestic violence cases. The consensus, I think, is undisputed that a family violence call is one of the most dangerous calls we can send our law enforcement officers into. And it's been prevalent during the pandemic. There has been, and this is not very controversial either, there has been a rise in case filings during the pandemic, and it's been important for our law enforcement agencies to be well trained and have the right protocols so they can do justice for the citizens of Fort Bend County. And I've been proud to be part of that, whether it's training the new people, the detectives, the people who need to learn about lethality in domestic violence cases. They're working hard. From all that I see, our folks on the ground who are coming to the people who are rushing towards the danger at your house or your business, they're working hard and they're tired through all of this because it's been a strain. And I have nothing but praise for them. And I think that they've served admirably during these hard times. And I think we as a party do a good job of recognizing our first responders, and I think it's well deserved.
Chad, tell us what will be the first things that you're gonna change once you win in November.
Thank you for the vote of confidence. I'm going to do everything I can
That's
to
right.
get to that position. There's going to be changes that need to happen. One of the things that I think that I would want to do is, back when I was a district court judge, I worked with one of our other judges to improve the standards for folks who are accused of crimes who get appointed attorneys. The poorest people shouldn't get the least experienced and the least trained attorneys. That is not what our Constitution, that is not what our Bill of Rights guarantees, folks. And I'd like to raise the standards for training and for trial experience to do that. I also want to look at the ways that we're spending our money. There is a lot of money that moves through the courthouse. And I think there are efficiencies to be had. And we have to keep in mind that while we're doing this, this isn't my money. It's not the judge's money. These are money. This is money that comes from taxpayers. These are people who have to pay taxes on their homes, and if they can't pay the taxes on their homes, they might lose their homes. And so we need to be good stewards of that. And I want to look at the ways that we're spending money, how we're spending money, and what we're spending money on. I want to work on having streamlined processes for cases, because one of the things from the pandemic is we have a backlog of cases in trial dockets. We've worked hard at the DA's office to try to minimize the backlog that we have, and I think we've been quite successful about it. But there are cases, there are old cases that need to get tried. And the other thing besides those things, I guess, is this, and maybe this is the most important. Day one, I'm ready to try cases. I don't need to go back to baby judge school. I don't need to get my feet wet slowly in all of this. I'm ready day one. And if there's a murder case set on January 2nd after I'm sworn in, I'm ready to try it because that's what needs to happen.
Well, saying that, your call to action, as I always say, please tell us how to find you, how to support you, and how to not only, because I know you need financial support, but also you need volunteers and everything. So tell us how to help you.
So, a couple of things. One is you can go to my website, chadforjudge.com, and I want you, before you commit to doing these things, I want you to read about me and make sure, because it's important that folks understand who they're voting for and have a good reason to do it. I want people to make informed decisions. But from there, they can donate, they can volunteer. I'm having another fundraiser coming up on September 7th, and I'll have information about that out on my Facebook page probably by the end of the week. And what you can do is I would funnel people who want to get involved. You can reach out to me directly, but reach out to Bobby. Bobby has done a great job organizing the folks in Fort Bend County to get out there and their voices be heard for what they want their community to be like. And there is energy out there. Bobby is absolutely right. And he is the right conduit at the right time to make sure that people who want to live in a safe community can have their voices heard. And those are the people that we need showing up on November 8th. So if you want to get involved, reach out to the party, reach out to Bobby, and we'll find a place for you. We got a whole list of places to block walk. We got a whole bunch of phone banking set up already. We just need people like y'all who are out here to come join us and let your voice for your community and the safe world you want to live in be heard.
Awesome. That was a call to action, wasn't it?
That was
and Chad,
awesome.
I appreciate that. And yeah, we will be organizing volunteers because we're going to help specific candidates. We're going to help the party in general. Because when people get this conservative message, when they see someone going to their door and talking about this, it helps all of our candidates. And what we need to do is we need to cut through this layer that the media has built up over all these years about what the Democrats are doing and show people what they're really doing. Because
Correct.
we need people like Chad. We need our other great candidates in Fort Bend County and then in Harris County as well. They're stepping up. They're ready to do the job. We just need to show people that, hey, this is what they believe in, and it's not this woke, radical, leftist agenda
Correct.
that we're seeing across the country. It's people like Chad who are ready to put public safety and families first.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Chad, so much for your time and lovely to get to know you better, to know your background, and thanks for running for this position that is very important for our community, for our families. And Fort Bend is our next door neighbor. So for sure, we wish you all the luck. And yes, I'm confident that you're going to win in November.
We're going to work hard and we're going to make it happen.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Chad.
So from county level, now
Right.
we're going to go to national level.
That's right.
And we're going to introduce our next guest as Kyle Sinclair. He's a Republican nominee running for U.S. Congress, Texas, District 20, against the incumbent Joaquin Castro. He's and not a political. He's not being a politician. He never run for office. So he has been working for 20 years in San Antonio in a hospital. So he has a lot of experience in our health system,
That's great.
and this is
Yeah.
the people that we need.
Absolutely.
And so the District 20, as we were reading, is I'll put it here. It's a western half of San Antonio and Behar County in Texas. But we're gonna let him talk more about
Right.
that.
That's right.
Okay, Kyle, welcome to TLC Live.
Thank you. How are you doing today?
Good, good. Thank you for your time and thanks for
Good.
being with us. So tell us a
Absolutely.
little bit of your background first.
Yeah, absolutely. Born and raised Texan. I mean, I love Texas. It's a great state. Been in San Antonio since 2009. I'm a prior vet. I was a medical service corps officer for the Army National Guard. By way of education, bachelor's and master's of health administration, and been a CEO of a hospital for about almost 20 years, so in healthcare. So love the industry, I mean I can't sit back on the sidelines anymore with the state of this country, and that's what got me started. So the 2020 election, I saw it happening and got involved in the party, got involved in some races, and then launched my campaign about a year later. So
Well, that's fantastic. So was that draw of what was going on in 2020 that really put you over the top as far as instead of just being interested in politics to actually get out there and be the candidate?
yeah, I mean it started obviously I served in the military. I love our country from that, and I was a normal citizen who voted every 4 years in the presidential election. And did I saw what happened in 2020, saw the direction of the country, saw what was happening since then, and launched my campaign September of 2021. So about 9 months later, after really watching the history and some of the radical wokeness and socialism agendas being pushed, is what caused me to run. And the people here in San Antonio are alive and thriving, and have never really had a great Republican conservative candidate put a platform together to run against people like Joaquin Castro. I always say, outside of Nancy Pelosi, the AOC squad, Joaquin Castro is the next biggest socialist in this country. And with the Biden administration going far left, Joaquin Castro has become more emboldened, and what he's done for the community, it's horrible. So yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that I find interesting is that it seems like these ones that you mentioned, the AOCs and Ilhan Omar and Castro, it's like the policies they push are clearly rejected by the bulk of the American people, and rather than adjusting, they go farther to the left. Do you think
Yeah.
they've finally gotten to that point where you can break through and that your message resonates with the voters?
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up. So what we're seeing, even with Myra Flores, which was a great race and
Yeah.
won that open seat, what you're seeing is that the values of the Hispanic community, predominantly on the Rio Grande Valley, and even into San Antonio, my district is 70% Hispanic. Their values of family, God, faith, low crime, good economy have not changed.
Hmm.
The party has left them, as Myra Flores keeps saying, and I'm seeing that in San Antonio. The constituents of District 20 are the same way. They value the same things that the Republican Party are going after, the same thing that my message is. I'm out in the community, and that's why we're getting such a great response. So that red wave is not people switching to the Republican Party just to the Republican Party. They're switching because the values of our party align more with their personal values. And it is deep, it's strong, and it is live in San Antonio. The NRCC is one of the largest metropolitan cities that they're focusing on is Bexar County and San Antonio, where we have a great shot to flip a district and that nobody saw coming.
Yeah, we saw. I mean, we've been seeing
Yep.
this happening with John Lujan,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
now, I mean, seeing somebody like you with experience in hospitals and with no political background and not a politician, is just somebody from the community that is saying enough is enough. And
Yep.
the area of the District 20 is being affected at all, in a in a massive way with the water crisis that we're having. And also, we recently saw the 53 illegal immigrants die
That's
in,
right.
in a
Yeah,
truck.
in the truck.
And that's affecting also hospitals, and that's affecting taxpayers because we're paying for that. So tell us, in your position, in case you win in November, how did you gonna address these issues?
Yeah, and I would say, starting back off my district, the border is the number one issue. I mean, obviously, I have healthcare experience in 20 years, and I can speak for a long time, but I had to get very educated on the border. So I've been to the border multiple times. I've had conversations with Border Patrol, Texas DPS. I've had conversations with the Texas National Guard, with Governor Abbott, with Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, with Ken Paxton, and then obviously the constituents of District 20. So leading into the unfortunate worst migrant death event that this country has ever seen, which is the immigrants in San Antonio, was in District 20. The night it happened, I went out there. I've been on the radio multiple times speaking about it. I've been to the funeral sites. I even shot a video and talking about that. And the open border rhetoric of the Biden administration, Mayorkas, and even Congressman Castro fighting harder for illegal immigrants is causing a national epidemic to the point where Congress or Senator Cruz mentioned it that this is the worst human smuggling trafficking event we've had in the history of this country. And it's at epidemic levels. And you have people like, again, Biden, Mayorkas, Vice President Harris, and people like Congressman Castro that continue to say these borders are closed. They are not. And I'll be at the Migrant Center here in San Antonio. They opened one up, and they're hosting about 1,000 of them every single day. 1,000 come in all across from the Rio Grande all the way into San Antonio. I'll do another press conference this Friday. So it is a hot topic. But to answer your question, Andrew, I think the number one thing is we've got to secure our border. We've got to give the resources, the training to the Border Patrol. You've got to continue to close that wall, finish building that wall. It's already been paid for by the Texas and national taxpayers. And then you got to give them the resources. Right now, the Border Patrol are acting more like babysitters, unfortunately, and the federal government's implicit on the human smuggling, where they're making billions of dollars, and then we're as citizens having to foot the bill for illegal immigration.
And being in the hospital industry, tell us how this also has been affecting the health system and the service that you guys should provide to the citizens that we pay taxes in this country. But instead of that, as you're saying, I mean, the Border Patrol is babysitting, and the hospital also is being affected by that.
Well, I mean, I think every industry is, right, that has an impact in regards to taking care of illegal immigrants. The Biden administration continues to say that they're not going to be a burden on the citizens or taxpayers. Well, that's untrue, of course. It is costing us billions of dollars to take care of it and to take care of them. Everything from housing to food to the sanitary products to healthcare needs. And it is a multi-billion-dollar effort that is impacting this country. And that's one of my biggest stances. Congressman Castro wants to call for open borders and wants San Antonio to be a sanctuary city, and fights harder, honestly, for illegal immigrants than he does the constituents and American citizens. I'm going to repeat that. You have an elected United States congressman who fights harder for illegal immigrants than he does his own constituents. And that's a big difference for me, is I will fight hard for the people of District 20 and for the American citizens first. Again, I'm a fifth generation immigrant myself. I am for legal immigration, but do it the right way. We have laws under the Constitution that protects this country that need to be followed.
Absolutely.
This
And
is the only
yeah,
country that
right.
allowed people like open borders. This is the only country. Not even my country.
Right.
Not even my country. You can go that easy.
Right. The countries that they're going through to get to America are harder on immigration than we are.
Totally.
They just keep pushing them on because we know that Biden's policies will just open the door to them. And Kyle, you made some great points. I want to follow up on one with the reception you're getting in the Hispanic community. I saw a poll like last month, Biden's polling at 28% among Hispanics. A new one
Yeah,
came out this week, lower than 20%.
correct.
And so how are you seeing that reaction play out on campaign stops and when you're in the community? Are they ready to jump onto the Republican bandwagon? Are they ready to support you over Castro?
Yeah, I would say, Bobby, they are. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm very active in the campaign trail. I do everything from parades to I did a police event last week to you name it. I am everywhere, and that's what I said. If I'm going to run and truly make a change and put my career on hold and fight for this country and time with my family, I do want to make a change, and I'm everywhere. And we're seeing it. I have elected officials that are saying they're elected Democrat officials saying they're going to vote for me. I have people that are sick to death of the $5 gallon gas. I heard the previous speaker and the judge. San Antonio had the deadliest homicide year in 27 years just last year. And Congressman Castro wants to defund the police. He was part of that big initiative in 2020 of the defunding the police. So I got endorsed by the police association. So they endorsed a candidate. I'm pro police, and we need to lower our crime. And so, absolutely, all the major national issues are going in my favor, and people are voting. People are seeing that, and so I'm seeing it everywhere. We have our own internal poll has me within points, flipping the seat to the one that we've never seen. It's been held by a Democrat for 88 years, and this is the first time that this seat is viable, and the people and constituents of District 20 are saying, I don't believe in what you guys are pushing. So to your point, Bobby, Congressman Castro is doubling down
Hmm.
on
Hmm.
things that really don't matter. So we have high gas prices of $5 to $6 a gallon. He's adamant on destroying the oil and gas industry. We have high crime. He wants to defund the police. We have open borders. And I'm saying to close them. He wants them open. So every major issue, critical race theory. I have 8 kids. They're in public education. I support parents' rights to know
Hmm.
what are being taught. I've had personal experience. He wants to support racism being taught in education level. So every major topic that impacts your life and my life, people are obviously siding with me. So November 8th is going to be a fun day for my party and for this race.
Well, yeah, that's outstanding. And, it frustrates me personally so much when you see Castro and these other Democrats that have just taken the Hispanic community for
They're
granted
using it.
all
They're
these
using
years.
us.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
They're using us, and they're using the Castro last name, saying, "Oh,
Yes.
we're Castro, we're Latinos." He doesn't even speak Spanish.
Right.
Let's start it from that. He
Right.
doesn't even speak Spanish. So we need to educate our Latino community very well. And I would say that we don't vote. I don't vote for last name. I vote for my
Yep.
values. I vote for
Yep.
whoever is going with my values. Not for the Castro that I met him in person several times back in my time as a reporter. He could never say a word in Spanish because he doesn't speak Spanish. So
Yeah.
people need to understand that not because so and so has a last name or Latino last name, meaning that they understand us,
Right.
meaning that they go with our values. That's nothing to do with that. So that's very important message that the Latino community need to understand.
Exactly. And the other thing too is that as we've mentioned, I've been involved in politics since the 90s and 90s, 2000s, 2010. You talk to Hispanic groups and nothing has changed. It's always been the conservative values. The only thing that was different is that we've hit I think it's two things, a generational moment where people are saying, hey, let's do something different. If these are our values, Democrats don't represent us. Let's do something different finally. And as Kyle, as you were saying, the Democrats have gone so extreme that now it's opened the eyes of the older generation
Yeah.
too. It's like the only thing we can do to get representation is to vote Republican. So, Kyle, man, I hope you have a massive success out there in the community because they're ready for something different.
And for sure,
Hey,
we're gonna support you here in TL and Texas Latino Conservatives. So tell us the call to action, how to find you, how to support you.
absolutely. I think I have said from day one that this race is going to be won on the streets.
Hmm.
And what I mean by that is who organizes the best ground game is going to win. And very fortunate to Andrew, what you're sharing or saying is that Congressman Castro has banked on his name and banked on the incumbent rule, and we're out working them. I mean, just last night alone, we had a phone bank and we did 3,800 phone calls in one night. We've
Wow.
been doing block walking for every weekend for the last month. So I have a press conference on Friday. I have a fundraising event tomorrow night here in San Antonio. Got a press conference on Friday, Saturday. We're back on the door. So my grassroots level is growing. The momentum behind the party is behind me because again, this is the first legitimate shot we've had in this city. But I'm all over social media. So if you want to get involved, my website is kylefor20.com. So kylefor20.com. It's a grassroots campaign. I've got national endorsements, massive amount of people coming on support to help this race. But again, it's going to be won in the streets. And for those who are local, can do phone bank or block walk. If not, if you can just help with a contribution, every dollar counts towards an expensive race, and let's take the city by storm. So
Let's take our state back.
That's right. That's right. And
absolutely,
you know, and
and
send
our
a
country.
message.
And
Yeah.
our country. Yes, we need to start. We need to
Yeah,
start from home to take
absolutely.
our country back. Definitely, we need to start. And I say our country because I love this country as much as I love my own country. I came to this country for a reason, and I came to this country to contribute, to be a better person, to get all. To this is the land of opportunities, and I love this country, and that's what I do. What I do. I'm the first time I vote, it was right after I became a U.S. citizen, and I was in a hurry to become a U.S. citizen, not only for the benefits that this amazing country gave me, but to give back. And to give back is voting. That's very important, and we need to keep working on educate our community because we come from a culture in our countries that we don't vote because there's a lot of corruption, but in this country it's different, and we need to contribute to this country as much as this country is being contributed to us, to the immigrant community. We need to vote, and we need to vote right, and we need to vote our values. That's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
We cannot get fooled by any last name. We need to get to know the candidates. We need to talk to them. And that's amazing that you're doing. Social media and websites are really good, but blocking and talking to people and shake hands, that's very important. Basic stuff. That's what it get to close to the community and identify with them.
Well, and I would say, Andrea, I mean, to answer, I think Bobby asked a question of why, but that's the reality. If Congressman Cashner was doing his job, I wouldn't be running. And the
Right.
reality is he's not. I have talked to more mayors, I've talked to sheriffs, I've talked to constituents that have never met him, never seen him. And honestly, the joke is that Congressman Cash and I have one thing in common. That's neither one of us have ever passed a bill in Congress. So he's a
Oh,
10-year
Nice.
incumbent, never passed a bill, and yet you have somebody off the streets that cares more about the people of his district than he does. I just attended a crime and sheriff event on the south side San Antonio, and I am as a candidate there representing District 20, and nowhere is Congressman Castro,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So that's the difference you're getting is somebody who cares about the people because I'm doing it for the right reason, because I'm not going to DC for a career, right? I have a
correct.
career in healthcare. I'm going to serve this country and serve the people of District 20.
And this is very important.
Yeah, amen to that. And I think it's the same thing with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She hasn't passed any legislation, but she'll go out there and talk a good game. Castro talks a good game, and yet what they're doing, what they're trying to push, actually hurts the community. And Kyle, wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you guys for
Kyle,
having
thank
me.
you so
God bless you
much.
guys. God bless America.
Good luck.
See ya.
Bye bye. Well,
Thank you.
Bobby, that was amazing, amazing show, and also, to have somebody like Kyle's, to
Hmm.
have somebody like Mayra Flores. We're also here in Texas Latino Conservatives. We are doing our part with Leadership Latino, also with your help now.
Thank you.
That
Yes.
it's been fantastic working with you. You're being a really good asset to the Texas Latino Conservatives. So let's talk about Leadership Latino.
That's right. Yeah, and I'm excited. Yeah, so now I'm an official part of Leadership Latino, and we've got folks. if you're not familiar with this, Texas Latino Conservatives sponsors Leadership Latino, which is a day of training for grassroots workers, candidates, everyone involved in wanting to get into the political process. And we go across the state. We've been to Harlingen, San Antonio, El Paso, you name it, Houston. And we're going back, we're hitting the road. I believe we're going to McAllen and San Antonio in the next 2 weeks in August. And we invite you to come out. Wow,
So Saturday,
what do we
August
have?
6th.
That's right.
Yes, we're going to be in Hidalgo County. So, and then we're going to be in August 13, also Saturday, starting at 8 in the morning in San Antonio. So remember, August 6 and August 13. August 6 is going to be in Hidalgo County, and then August 13 is going to be in San Antonio. And Bobby, of course, is going to be there. I will be there. Bobby is doing the part of the media training, how to deal with the media, how to deal with reporters. So pretty much Leadership Latino, it takes you from A to Z, from the moment that you go and sign for the position to fundraiser, to deal with the media, to deal with all the ethics.
Right.
And it's a lot of things for a candidate or for a person to run for a position. And you need to know all the steps. And that's what Mayra Flores is one of our first students in Leadership Latino. And look at her now.
Right, look at what happened
She's
to her.
a star.
And you're absolutely right, folks. We pack a whole lot of training into one day for anyone that wants to be a grassroots activist or a candidate. As Andrea mentioned, you have to know all the rules and regulations. Mm-hmm. You have to learn how to fundraise. You have to learn how to deal with the media and public speaking. And we put the candidates through all of that, and not just candidates, but grassroots activists too, so that you can go out there and be better prepared to spread the conservative message. And it's great. So McAllen on August 6th, San Antonio on August 13th.
Correct.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and at no cost. It doesn't cost you anything. So the only thing that you need to do is just go to TexasLatinoConservatives.com or LeadershipLatino.com. Click and you just need to RSVP. You just need to put your name there, and we'll see you there in August 6th and 13.
I gotta make sure to RSVP. I don't know if I did yet. I will though. I'll make sure and sign up.
You don't need to sign up.
Oh, okay.
You're
Okay,
gonna
I'm teaching. Right, that's right. So I don't need to. I don't
You're
need to sign
teaching.
up. Yeah, that's right. I'll be there.
Yeah, just register. Just register on the website. Visit TexasLatinoConservatives.com or LeadershipLatino.com. But in the TexasLatinoConservatives.com, you will find all the information is on the top of the page. And then also, if you want to become a member of the Texas Latino Conservative, it's only $35 a year. So help us to help and spread the word, because we need to take our county, our city, our state, and our country back.
That's right. And with a strong movement here with Texas Latino Conservatives, and the way that the Hispanics across the state are coming to the Republican Party, we're going to shut down the Democrats once and for all, because they keep saying that Texas is trending purple or it might go to the Democrats. With the Hispanics voting their values.
That's it. That's the only thing that we need to do.
The Democrats will be done.
Vote your values.
That's right.
That's it.
Exactly.
And so we'll see you guys next Wednesday. Bobby, thank you so much.
Enjoyed it.
And again, congratulations. And we want you also to invite the candidates in Foreman County to have them here in Texas Latino Conservatives. Deal.
I will. I will do it this time. Yes.
All right. Thank you, Bobby. And thank you so much. Muchas gracias a todos por habernos acompañado. Nos vemos el próximo miércoles a las 11 de la mañana. We're going to go back to our regular schedule every Wednesday at 11 in the morning. Nos vemos pronto.
Thank you.